Yeah, we have to realize they're not after Bob or John or Henry or Haig or Ziegler. They're after the president. Shit, that's what it's all about. You know that. Huh?
They're going to prove them all wrong.
They want to destroy us.
What they're hung up on, they're really in a dilemma. They're on they want to get you, yet they don't. And that's tough for them too.
Maybe. Maybe you're right. It could be as well to have a feeling that the president or taps on his own needs.
But see, that was a totally dishonest way to write that. And that's fast as you do it.
Which is not really what happened.
No, it's not. Some of those things came from J. Earl. He insisted on tapping Alvin because he had that file for the thing that they thought he got. Some of them came from Henry.
Hell of a lot came from Henry Allen. And you know, I didn't approve it. The only one that I said they would crack one time and a document out. I said, God damn it, let's find out what the hell son of a bitch is.
I say it doesn't make any difference how like that. It's always got to be presented in the context of decisions were made based on who had access and had reason to have been vulnerable in the context of a leak.
Yep.
And if that situation coincided with a past record, question about it.
Henry's got to clear himself up on this leak thing when he gets back, though. He's got to step out one day.
Well, he realized it last night. He said, damn, I think I better cancel my trip and step up.
Bullshit.
I said, no.
It's an obsession with the Washington story, which is not that big. It's big, but it's that big. But he's going to stay his trip down to the country and then come back and clean Washington up when he comes back. Right?
If it's still around.
Maybe. Or this will be around. It's really ridiculous. The President of the United States has to spend his time for the last almost 2 months worried about this horse's ass crap. Unbelievable, isn't it?
And things that were...
Come in. Hi, Brad. Yes. You had a hard night. I hope you got enough to eat.
Not yet.
What was it? Beat in the mess.
Not yet. It's confirming out very well.
Really?
What?
Yeah, I'll take the notes. Yeah.
There are no documents. Apparently Houston was wrong. There was no document turning it on in the first place.
What is this document we got in the file then?
That was from Haldeman telling Houston that the answer was yes, you had made the decision.
No, wait a minute. The 14th page, what's that?
Well, that is the statement. It presents the picture and the recommendations. There was no action memorandum, though, to tell the people to go into business
I see.
whatsoever. And they've all checked.
Oh.
Checked memories of people. He did it by telephone calls.
Who did call?
Houston, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
You see, the procedure to carry it on is not prescribed in Haldeman's memorandum. He said, instead of using the procedure you suggested, use the one I explained to you. If this doesn't work, come back. Well, that was obviously to call him and tell him to go.
Right.
He apparently
I don't
did.
want to miss on all of them. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, that's not. It was. Subsequently, they were told no go. They all got the message.
Wait a minute. Was there a no-go order?
Yes, sir. We've got people who remember the no-go order.
Who?
We've got Bill Sullivan, and we'll get the details from him. I'm sure we had a lengthy conversation with. Lou Tordello got the message. It was off.
From Halton? By Harley?
No, sir. None of them got it from Halton.
Where you got the no-go from?
Houston gave it to Sullivan,
Yeah.
and Sullivan called everybody else and said, no, we're out of business. Sullivan was furious. They had convinced Hoover to go with it. They had a 2.5-hour meeting. They had the decision. He signed off. They sent it in to you. Unanimous recommendation. You approved it. It was unanimous. No dissent. Then, what I'm told is that Tolson found out about it and got to Hoover. Clyde Tolson. Said, this will ruin your image. Hoover then took his copy, footnoted it, screamed at Mitchell, got the issue raised. I think he may even have seen you. They're under the impression he did.
I think he did, yeah.
And you suspended the operation. That's the word they used. You suspended it out.
Where?
It was within 2 days of it being issued to the best of their recollection. It just took Hoover reaction time. Tolson got to him. He came right back. Sullivan thinks he has notes that will give us the precise times. But the whole thing was suspended immediately.
Before he went to...
Yes, sir. Before anybody made their first move.
Who else besides Sullivan? Did you get
Sullivan, Tordello got the word, and DIA got the word. They're finding who talked to Sullivan to get the word within 2 days. No go. Yes. Well, Houston went to Sullivan. Sullivan called the rest of them. Sullivan was a scribe for this operation. He actually wrote that report.
Will Sullivan so state that he said no go?
Yes.
Will he stand up?
Yes. I believe he will.
Very important, though.
Yes. And we've got other witnesses that Sullivan called. And Sullivan was furious.
Furious?
Oh, he was mad as winning. He finally got Noel Cutler up to speed, confessed Noel Cutler, and that's when they raised the thing with Hoover again. And they went round and round, Hoover wouldn't go, until they called everybody in, and that's when they came to see you,
That's right.
and had the fight, and you assigned Houston, and it went through, but it was no go.
But I assigned Houston, and then all of it said is go.
Yes.
Within 2 days, it was turned
Within
off.
2 days, they tell me, about 2 days, it was turned off. Now, Lou Tordello remembers because he was called by Bill Sullivan and said, okay, we got the green light. It's finally go. He said, go to work making the list. He said, it'll take us some time to reassemble the assets to do this because they had dispersed the type of people that do this operation. And so Tordello said, okay, I'll start work on the list of targets. But I'm not going to send it to you until you get the assets in place and are ready to go, because I don't want you to have an outdated list. Well, before they ever assembled the assets or anything, back came Sullivan and said it's all off. It's suspended. Lou's got notes on it.
All of them.
But they're notes.
They have made notes.
Yes. Lou Tordello's got a note of everything. He's in the business of taking everything from the president. He's got it all. All right.
Within 2 days, that's better than we thought.
Yes.
Fred.
Yes. So it was turned off.
I thought we thought 3 months. Then what happened?
It never got on. Now the history goes on from there. The question was raised subsequently once or twice. It never went anywhere. I mean, to show that it wasn't going on, they actually made the pitch again here and there. They never really got a bite on it, and they could never quite get a handle on it until Pat Gray was appointed.
Shit.
No, Well, we came close. We came close. Pat went out to visit NSA and took 4 of his assistants with him. And he told Lou Tortello they were meeting with him. He said, I understand we used to do some things for you that were very helpful. Lou said, yes, that's true. He said, I understand we've cut them off. He said, I'd like you to say, why the hell did they never go? Well, Lou didn't know where all the guys sat around the table. And he said, well, maybe some of your own people can tell you. But Lou finally told him, he said, I understand Toast got to Hoover and convinced him to scream because it would hurt his image. One of the guys at the table verified it. So then Pat said, well, I damn well think we ought to try to put it back. We ought to review the situation, weigh the risk, the advantages, and see what's done. They started that process. Pat was putting back together the asset. And
So, this.
Tortello told me this.
Thank God he's around.
And then they thought that Pat was going to run with it. It went about 6 weeks, Pat trying to reassemble the assets because it was real rusty now since 67. And then I forgot what it was that happened that turned off the whole damn thing. But something happened with respect to Pat's appointment, approval, or something of this type, and it was all dead. So we've never gotten off again.
What is the situation then? That they didn't burglarize anything?
No burglarize.
They didn't do anything
No.
of that sort. Then what in the hell is being thing?
Well,
he must be relying on something he got in March of 72. He didn't know what the hell he had.
you see, all these documents show is that there was an affirmative decision by virtue of the memo from Haldeman to Houston. That's all he has.
That's right.
And apparently he doesn't know.
How do we answer the fact that that was turned off?
We tell him bluntly it was turned off. It was never done.
48 hours later.
Yes. And we'll have to check these logs and get the precise times of the secretary, but we can, Mr. President, we can do that. We'll get that right down. I've told him to go back and work on his notes. I won't proceed.
Get the notes, get it within a matter of hours or days. I don't care if it's 48 days. Just so it's turned off.
Just so it's turned off.
Nothing was done.
Nothing was done.
There's the contingency plan was presented, approved. I don't even approve the content policy. I didn't approve it.
Yes.
Burglarize this or that. You know what I mean?
Constant.
Is it home?
Yes. And I talked to Bob again, and Bob just doesn't remember. No.
And we're talking about things that were done in 1960.
1967. Yeah, they were done up until 1967.
The question is whether we should renew things that were done until 67.
That is correct. We had one increment in there, Mr. President, in that document that wasn't previously done.
Okay.
Well, it was not recently, not as recent as 67. And that was a black bag job on internal security targets. Now, we both know how that system
That was
works.
done at Weir.
No, sir.
Thank God.
Was not done then. But we both know how that system worked. And how Hoover, in the early days, Hoover participated.
Yep.
In the later days, I know, just from dealing with the...
Thank God you're here.
It was
But
done
now,
the
the
way.
point that we have to do here, you see, our game plan changes a bit, doesn't it?
In some respects, but not many, I think. I think you've still got to watch. I agree thoroughly that we've got to let Irvin lead this thing out. I've already had some evidence. He's already putting it out.
Have you, like what?
Oh, let me think of the name.
Right.
The guy justice today that I called
Yeah,
ran this committee for Bob Martin. And it's all he's got complete records. They didn't do anything.
Marty will be good with us.
I've talked to Marty. Bernie Wells. Bernie Wells actually headed up that committee when it wrote its first paper through its last paper. First paper was on the...
That was in January.
Right.
Later.
That was a later effort. So that one was not a successor effort. It was something entirely different. And it was clean. Completely fine.
Well, so he begins to lead.
But Bernie Wells told me this afternoon he had a phone call I've gotten drift of several other inquiries around town that make it fairly clear that they have an inkling of this.
Fine. All right, maybe we want to let them,
I think we want to let them get out on a limb.
yeah, I don't think we should move first.
No, sir. No,
You agree?
I agree.
Why should we move first, Al?
I think it's important
Well, I think we'll have to better.
if when they move, you're going to use national security grounds as a justification for not releasing this document for the damage it would do to a protector.
Then,
And this is the reason you're worried about CIA involvement now.
but that's why,
Everybody hear what
that's why there was a document, that there was an operation that was never implemented.
But since your argument is on national security grounds, you sure don't want to be the one that exposes the operations.
I know.
Let them do it. They'll do it.
Yeah, but again, my point is we got to get across very fast the fact that it was never implemented. That this was basically a policy paper that was.
But I think we have to let them get out on a limb a little bit before.
First, I know,
Yes,
but
we have to be prepared.
we must monitor all this information in advance.
That's right. But we have to be
They
prepared.
realize we turned off and they don't know.
No, sir, I don't think they will. And I think, quite frankly, we're going to have a hard time making it safe.
Yeah. That it was turned off.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, you're right.
Yes,
Except Target will be a pretty good witness.
Tordello will be a good witness. I think we'll be able to get witnesses out of DI.
Well, I'm going to give you a hard time if we just stick right to it firm and hard.
Right.
We've done this before.
Right.
Of course, we have a hard time making it, but it's true. You see, that helps.
That's right, and they can find no evidence of any activity that it wasn't true.
We asked them to produce any evidence. We don't have any evidence. As far as you know.
As far as I know, I have been able to determine. Jim Schlesinger's going through over there with a fine-tooth comb to make sure they weren't involved.
Well, we'll see. Dean, curiously enough, probably doesn't know it was turned off. Because he probably didn't learn about it until March. That's my opinion.
Yes.
I don't think he really knew about it. You know what I mean?
That's a possibility that he didn't know about it at all.
Maybe. Because where were we? I didn't realize it was important until this year.
I think that's probably true.
So what's your plan? Is to have Buchanan still write something up?
Yes, sir. I think as soon as we can get all the facts, get them nailed down,
Everybody does.
then we start writing.
Right? Well, so that for security reasons, because of this, that the plan was submitted, the president was submitted, approved, and disapproved.
Well, we want to lay out that it came to you with a unanimous recommendation.
Came out with a unanimous recommendation. The agencies involved within 2 days because of the recommendation of J. Edgar Hoover, the president disapproved it. And put Mitchell on it too. Letting them credit for security. It was disapproved. And it was not implemented, period. That's what I think I play.
That's the way.
Stand hard and firm on that. Let it swim. They think they have more here than they have.
That's true.
I think.
Well, from all the evidence we have at this point, I'm sure they think that they have more. Certainly appears so. I really think Senator Irving is sitting like the cat that swallowed the canary right now.
Yes, he's done a lot. Can we get a delete to him to show that it was turned off or anything, or should we? I think it's a good idea.
I'm sure they will tell.
No. Or should
I don't think he'd believe us if we
just lay the bushes.
I don't think he'd believe us.
Lay back.
I think let the bastards show their hand.
And then hit it and say, this shows the total irresponsibility of this committee. They could have found out that this was an operation. It's a paper unanimously recommended. It was approved, and then within 2 days, because of the Edgar Hoover's disapproval, it was and Attorney General's disapproval, give him credit. It was not put into effect. Period. Isn't that really the line? That is 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever it is.
motivation for the responsible intelligence personnel to return to practices
that had been discontinued in 67.
and I think by the then Attorney General.
Now, who are our witnesses on the things that you said? Cardillo will be a good witness.
Costello,
Cardillo
there'll be Sullivan,
Sullivan will be all right.
Pat Gray will know this.
Pat Carter.
Pat Carter.
First
No. Carter won't know about this plan because he wasn't there. Tyler will know.
He's a citizen.
Noel Tyler will know.
Bennett.
Bennett, Don Bennett.
But does he know
Yeah,
when they start off? They all got it by a telephone call
That's
from
right.
Sullivan.
That's right.
But Sullivan
And
was
somebody
right
in
with
the agency, yes, sir. We should make our best witness.
If you'll do it.
And if you'll do it. And somebody in the agency that we haven't located yet.
Fine.
Someone in the agency, we don't know who Bill Sullivan called in the agency to talk to.
Sullivan turned it off with great, shall we say, disappointment, right?
Yes.
Just said, we move this back to some days? No. Nobody's coming. Excellent job of sleuthing.
It's not really sleuthing. It's rather.
Who do you like to put on this? And Marty, what do you suggest? Getting Buchanan and getting, well, you want to get your back?
I want to get all my facts recorded, precisely pinned down, this sort of thing. I want to bring them in.
Bring Bennett and Guyler in and get a direct interview with them. What do you think?
Sure, Guyler's on the Pacific, of course.
Well, Bennett's in Korea.
That's great.
They come home every so often.
Sure. I think so. Let's get it nailed down. Let's knock the shit out of this one. Knock the ball right out of the park. See, this is not related, therefore, Fred. It's related to the Kroger operation. It's not related to the other things. This is a totally different thing. Which is very important for us to bear in mind. You don't want to be a problem where everything else is actually.
That's true.